everybody, and welcome back to Ayana B TV. Today, we are here with Dr. Cheryl Felder, family nurse practitioner. For several years, she managed clinics for a local hospital system, but now she is the proud owner of Grace Family Clinic, and she's been at Grace Family Clinic for over 4 years now. Thank you so much for being here with us, Dr. Felder.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited to talk to you today, especially about self-care when it comes to our physical well-being, because sometimes we skip out on that, and I know that we really
Absolutely.
shouldn't. And so
Yes.
I'm glad to get your professional advice here and information. So let's get into it. Dr. Felder, how do you define self-care?
Okay. I define self-care as any activity that is done to take care of you, to take care of your mental, your emotional, your physical, and your spiritual health. It's being able to be aware or mindful of what's going on with you. So in other words, just paying attention to what you need. I feel that self-care should not be something that you are forced to do. I feel that self-care should not be something that you don't enjoy doing. It should be something that that you like to do. It should be something that refuels you rather than take from you.
I like that definition. I'm already writing down my notes. I'm looking over here because I'm writing down my notes. I got to pay attention to what I need. I like that already. So tell us, why is it so important for us to pay attention to what we need?
That's a very, very good question. So in today's society, people are expected to work long hours. We're expected to burn, quote, the midnight oil. And in order to be productive, you have to work 24/7. Okay. So self-care is important for various reasons. If a person does not stop and allow themselves time to relax and rejuvenate, then it can lead to burnout. It can lead to feelings of being overwhelmed, even if it's just small, minute things. It can lead to anxiety. It can lead to depression, and a host of other things. And those are just to name a few. All of these things that I've mentioned, being overwhelmed, anxiety, depression, being burnout, all of these things can affect a person, whether they're in school. It can affect their grades. If they're at work, it can affect their productivity. Even being at home, people that are home moms, it can affect productivity at home as well. And it can also affect a plethora of other negative, issues. So taking time to engage in self-care, it can help to reduce or relieve the pressures of life, and also allow that person to reset and get back to a healthy, state of being, and just be healthy, and also so they can be the best version of themselves. And if you're the best version of yourself, then you can do more for yourself as well as for others.
Absolutely, absolutely. So tell us, you own Grace Family Clinic. You started it a little over 4 years ago.
Mhm.
What types of patients do you actually see?
Well, since Grace Family Clinic is a family practice clinic, I see everything from newborn to end of life, those age groups. And then I do sick visits, I do well visits, immunizations, I do sports physicals, college physicals, um, chronic disease management, all of that, everything that falls under that family practice umbrella.
Gotcha. Wow, that's a lot. That's a varying amount of
Yes.
activity.
Yes.
So since you see all these different types of patients with different needs, tell us what are some of the misunderstandings people may have when they come to visit you?
Um, some people feel that because of your, like, as far as a female, some people feel that you can do, everything. I have some people to ask me if they test positive for pregnancy. Well, why can't you be my OB doctor? And I'm like, I'm not an OB doctor. That's not my specialty. I need to refer you to an OB doctor. So some of them feel because you're family practice that you can do everything. Well, why do I need to go to a specialist? you should, you can handle that, that type thing.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. So, with all the types of patients that you do see, what are the benefits that you see in your patients when they're taking care of themselves?
Okay. Some of the benefits of self care include, but it's certainly not limited to, increase in self esteem, increase in self confidence, better relationships with family and friends, increased productivity, stress reduction, improvement in their physical health, and it protects their mental health. Um, Additionally, it's been clinically proven that positive health outcomes are linked with doing self care, such as you can have a reduction in heart disease, stroke, cancer. All of that has been linked to um, people doing self care. Um, Self care can also lower our cortisol level, and cortisol is also known as the stress hormone. So that hormone can elevate whenever we're under anxiety and stress. And then when we're in a relaxed state, that hormone can lower. And so when it's elevated, then it can cause various chronic illnesses. It can help contribute to depression, anxiety, all of those things.
It sounds like self care is absolutely necessary almost every day in a way, depending on what you're doing to make sure that you're living a very full, relaxed, as stress free as we can make it life. That
Hmm.
wow, all of those things you just mentioned, almost mind blowing to me because I didn't really think of it that way. But thank you for sharing
Absolutely.
that.
It affects our immune system. And of course, our immune system is what helps to fight infection. So during this time, the time that we're living in with the pandemic, that's very important to do your self care, excuse me. So your stress level can be reduced and your immune system can stay healthy.
Mm.
I do have a lot of patients that I treat for chronic diseases, high blood pressure, diabetes, arthritis, chronic conditions. Um, and not participating in self care has led to unhealthy eating habits, decreased physical activity, insomnia. And then as a result, they have increased weight gain, decreased self esteem, and that results in the weight gain, and unhealthy eating habits. All of that results in uncontrolled diabetes, uncontrolled high blood pressure, digestive issues, pain, chronic fatigue, anxiety, depression, burnout, all of that. So it's kind of like a domino effect.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, that was actually going to be my next question is when you're not taking care of yourself, tell us some of, the negative side effects. And wow, you have just listed a plethora. And like you said, the domino effect, it just stacks on top of each other and makes it worse and worse and worse and worse. So
Mhm.
let me ask you this. Let's say that we haven't been taking care of ourselves, okay? Because
Mhm.
most of us, maybe we're not doing exactly what we should do. And let's say we've started a domino effect.
Right.
Is it possible to kind of reverse at least some of it? Is it possible to reverse all of it depending on how deep we are? And what would you suggest? How would you suggest that we start? Because once we're feeling, we've got the low self-esteem or we're feeling depressed or we're anxious, or we've gained a lot of weight. I myself have gained a lot of weight during these last 2 years,
Right.
actually the heaviest I've been in my life. And so
Mhm.
I'm thinking to myself, I have got to reverse this. But in all honesty, since I've never been this weight, I'm thinking, can I do it? Is it possible? Is there something special I need to do? What about people like me that we're trying to reverse these things? Where should I start?
Right. I've had the same issue where these last few years, then I've gained, unnecessary weight as well. So I always say start with the small things, whatever we can do. A lot of people think that, oh, I have to go to a gym. I don't have money for a gym membership, and things like that. But it's starting with the small things and things that you can do at home. So I tell all of my patients, just get moving. You know, you can go for short walks. You can walk to your mailbox and walk back, come back, and then just gradually try to increase that distance, whether it's increasing it by 5 minutes per day, or walking a little bit further a day. You can, I tell all of my patients, you can exercise during commercials. If you've ever timed the commercials, commercials are long, and you can get some good exercise during commercials even while you're sitting down watching your favorite TV program. Whenever commercial comes on, get up and do squats and just keep doing squats until that next commercial comes on. When the next commercial comes on, get up and do jumping jacks or run in place. People think that they have to invest in money and all of this heavy, equipment or exercise machine. You
Mhm.
can get canned goods and put it in grocery bags and use that as weights, you know, and things like that. And you can actually do those things around your house while you're, doing your everyday living, or even if you're at home watching TV, you can just get up and move between the commercials, and you'll be surprised how all of those little things add up.
I like
Um,
that idea. During
mhm,
commercials, I know sometimes I kind of fast forward through them because I tend to either stream or
mhm.
DVR, something like that. But I like that
You
idea.
can use that for,
That's a really
use
good
that for your benefit. You can pick,
one.
3 or 4 exercises you want to do: squats, jumping jacks, running in place, and just do that the entire time until your program comes back on, you know. As far as diet, you know yourself better than anyone else. So just be honest with yourself. And I always tell my patients, pick 1 or 2 things that you know that you can change
Okay,
and you know that you're going to stick with.
okay.
Don't try to be, all extravagant and pick a whole list of things, because you're going to set yourself up for failure. Pick 1 or 2 things that you know that you can change. Do those things faithfully, religiously, until they're no longer an issue. And then you add 1 or 2 things to it. Do those faithfully, religiously, until they're no longer an issue. And at that time, you change 3 or 4 things, in your diet. And you keep doing that until it is a total lifestyle change, and you're automatically eating that way. You're automatically exercising that way. And then it'll be lifelong, a lifelong change.
These are such realistic actions that we can take. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. So
And then the
tell
last
me.
one, I'm sorry, I wanted to add one more. Last one, water.
Ah,
Increasing our water intake. I have a lot of patients when they come in, their blood pressures are sky high. And I ask them, how much water are you drinking?
mm,
And they're drinking, oh, I'm drinking just 1 bottle a day. But if you're putting your body in a dehydrated state, then your blood pressure will be elevated. And then as you drink more water, the salt will be flushed out, and it will help with the blood pressure to be reduced. That, some people have, is hereditary from their family. Some people it's because of what they eat, but water does play a part in it, and it will help. So just drinking more water is amazing what water can do.
okay. Oh man, I love these realistic action steps. I love them because it feels as if it's something that I can do. I can add
Mhm,
more water and pick the one thing I need to do, which actually was going to be water. I thought I tend to
mhm.
start my water a little too late in the day.
Right.
And so that, that doesn't fare well for later in the evening. I need to start it earlier in the day,
Right.
definitely. And I don't know. I think I may make sure I stop eating by a certain time. That might be a little bit easier for me to start out doing. So I hope
Right.
all of you that are listening are picking your own 1 or 2 actions that are easy for you to take to just start taking better care of yourself today.
Absolutely.
So tell us, let's get a little personal, Dr. Felder. What do you do for your self care? Give us maybe 2 things that you really enjoy doing.
One thing is I play with my dog. I've never been. This is my first time being a dog owner, and I just woke up one day during the pandemic, and I don't know what came over me, but I just woke up and said, I'm going to buy a dog. And so I did. I did buy a dog. I have a little miniature schnauzer, and he'll be 1 year old next Saturday.
Uh,
And so sometimes I just come home and do nothing and just play with him, and that just brings joy to my evening, just throwing the ball and throwing his toys. And he's so anxious to see me whenever I get in. He's excited and he just loves on me. And so that just helps to reduce stress and help me to wind down at the end of the day, and things like that. And then another thing is that I um, I don't do it often. I need to do it more, but I decided that I'm going to pick a day that's just untouchable. Um, and I no one can touch that day. I don't get on social media. I don't answer the phone if I don't want to, and I just do things that I want, just whatever I want to do on that day. Nothing work related or whatever, may call somebody I hadn't talked to in a long time. Lately, um, I like doing random acts of kindness, for other people. And so at the beginning of January, I cooked a big pot of gumbo for one of my friends, for her family, and say, hey, I just called her and say, hey, are you at home today? And she was like, yeah. I say, okay, I'm on my way to drop off something to you. And I just dropped off a big pot of gumbo for her and her family, and she called me back. She was like, oh my gosh, what is the occasion? I'm nothing, just because, but I just like to do that because I like to do arts and crafts, and things like that. So I just pick an untouchable day and that day I just do absolutely whatever it is, that I want to do.
Wow. That's great self-care. That is great. Man, pick a day, not even on social media. Oh man, that would be amazing, I think, for a lot of our mental health. So
Mhm.
I know sometimes we get off track, right? We're ready, we're steady, we're doing what we're supposed to do.
Mhm.
Something happens, maybe who knows what it is, right? Something happens and we just get off track. We decide not
Right.
to do it today, or we have some type of traumatic thing that happens in our lives. So tell us, how do you get back on track when you're kind of off track?
Um, Whenever I fall off track and it's been a while before since I exercise or whatever, I just try to start small and simple, like we were talking before.
Mhm.
Even if it's getting up in the morning and doing 5 minutes of exercise,
Okay.
then that's something versus nothing,
Yeah.
and just trying to be consistent with whatever it is I'm starting to get back on track with. And whether it means, I'm drinking bottles of water a day. I want to be consistent with drinking that 2 bottles of water a day. I don't want to start off with drinking a gallon of water because I know that I'm not going to, that's unrealistic. I'm not going to keep up with that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to start walking 3 miles, initially, but just whatever you do, it doesn't matter how small, in my opinion, it doesn't matter how small, it matters about the consistency, and you just be true to yourself and and say, hey, I'm going to do this, for me. Whether that means you get up in the morning and your devotion time, you dedicate that certain amount of time, but you be consistent with it, and then as you see that you're consistent with it, then you can increase the amount of time that you're doing it, and then get back into your routine.
Gotcha. All right. Sounds good. So, what self care activity are you planning to add this year?
um I want to get back into riding my bike. I purchased a bike a few years ago and I used to ride it really consistently. And, I had gotten up to riding like 30 miles a day. And then that's kind of fallen off. And so it's just been in my garage. But I do want to get back into riding my bike.
Okay. Okay. Well, let me tell you, we have a few more questions for you, but
Okay.
I am just so excited that you decided to be here with us. We have learned
I'm
so much
excited to be here.
about paying attention to ourselves and doing what refuels us, taking realistic action steps and starting small. We'll
Mhm.
probably check in with you at the end of this year and see how well you're doing with riding that bike, because 30 miles, that is very impressive. Very impressive. So we're going to go to a few random questions. Are you
Okay. Okay.
all righty? So what is your favorite comfort meal when you're just having a crazy day and you're not really thinking that much about your health? What's your favorite comfort meal?
um, my favorite food, period, is spaghetti. I
Oh,
can eat spaghetti every day, all day. Knowing I shouldn't because of the carbs, and things
right.
like that. But I absolutely love, love, love spaghetti. So
Spaghetti.
that would be my comfort food.
All right. So, what about when you're thinking of a great meal to eat and you're thinking about your physical health and you want to have a really healthy meal? What's a healthy meal you could eat over and over and over again?
Um, I would say probably baked salmon or baked fish
Mm,
and vegetables.
okay.
That's usually my go-to when I'm, pushing the health my health kick and trying to get healthy. Um, I usually do fish or salmon with vegetables.
Any specific vegetables you really, really like?
Um, Not in particular. I
Okay.
kind of like I kind of like all of them. I do not like Brussels sprouts. I would say that.
Not even like the roasted with the balsamic glaze and all, not
I've
even.
never tried them that way. I've never tried them that way. So
We're gonna have to talk after this. We're gonna have to talk. We're gonna have to talk. Because honestly, I don't really like Brussels sprouts either, but I will eat them like that. I will eat them like that. So
okay,
we'll
I'll,
talk.
I'll have to try them. I've never had them like that. That's
Okay.
okay. It sounds very good.
Really good. Okay, so after a stressful day, let's say you just had a hard day at work, it was long, you saw patient after patient after patient, even people just coming in that weren't even supposed to be there. You come home, what's the first thing you do that helps your mind relax from the day?
When I first pull in my garage, I just sit there just for a
Mhm.
few minutes just to kind of decompress because I know first of all, as soon as I pull into the garage and my dog hears the garage going up, I can hear him inside just going crazy.
Okay.
And so I know as soon as I open that door and let him out of his kennel, then it's going to be nonstop, for a few hours. And so I'll just sit there in the garage. Sometimes I don't even pull in the garage. I just sit in the driveway and just listen to music, whether it be on the radio or on my phone, and just kind of, decompress and just relax, just for a few minutes, before getting in.
Hey, that sounds nice. Some music, just closing my eyes already, just imagining
Yes.
resting in the car before coming in. Yeah, I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that habit, I think. So, very random question,
Okay.
nothing to do with self care. If you could have dinner with three people, dead or alive, who would the three people be and why? And you don't have to have dinner with them all together. You can have your one on one dinner if you want. With three people, and tell us why for each person. I'll give you a second to think.
Three people, dead or alive.
Mhm.
Um, Michelle Obama.
Okay. Okay. Tell us now why on earth would you want to Michelle Obama?
That just goes without saying. She's just Michelle Obama, and
Absolutely.
she's just I can't even describe. Just she's just just everything about her. I just love everything about her, and I would just be so honored to meet her and just I mean to have dinner with her. Wow, really.
I'm with you on that. All right.
um,
Next person.
Next person. Hmm. I would say my favorite singer or gospel artist, CC Winans.
Aha.
I just love everything about CC. She's anointed and just her personality. I've watched all kinds of videos about her. I think I know her like she's my personal friend. But I just think that um she's an anointed singer, but I think her life is just anointed in just everything that she does. And she's just so well respected, and she's so family oriented, and I just can connect with her on, many levels as far as family, and what she stands for.
Okay. Okay. And the third person.
Um, the third person, I would think it would be her brother BB.
Really?
Hmm.
Tell us why.
Yeah. Um, Same, he's anointed, he's family oriented, he's just a cool dude. I follow him on Instagram.
Okay.
And so I just he does his exercise thing every day. And I just love both of them and what they stand for and how God has moved in their life and how they have um stayed connected with God and stayed true to their calling, you know.
Wow. All right. Well, thank you for those three people. Those are wonderful people for you to have dinner with. And perhaps since they're all still alive, you may be able to have dinner one day.
2022 goals.
Hey, you never know. Stranger things have happened, right?
That's right.
So thank you so much for being here with us, Dr. Felder. Again, she is the owner of Grace Family Clinic. So tell us, if I would like to become your patient, how can I find Grace Family Clinic?
Thank you so much again for having me. I really enjoyed it. Grace Family Clinic is located in Missouri City, Texas. Our address is 2435 Texas Parkway, Suite K, Missouri City, Texas 77489. Um, I am on Instagram as Grace Family Clinic, Facebook Grace Family Clinic as well. So we're easy to find. You can also just call us if you want to make an appointment, 281-208-2220.
Okay. Grace Family Clinic. Check her out. Follow her. Perhaps you may need her one day, or you know someone who needs her. Grace Family Clinic in Missouri City, Texas. Follow her on Facebook and on Instagram. Thank you so much for being here with us, Dr. Felder. I
Thank
hope
you
you
so
enjoy
much for
the
having me.
rest of your day. You are welcome. All right, guys, it's been great today. Take some of these action steps with you and share them with a friend or a family member. And
Yeah.
we will see you next time.
Bye.